Every day, children you know are living a nightmare. 1 in 4 girls, 1 in 6 boys are sexually abused. 2/3 of the time, their perpetrators are someone they know, a family member, a friend of the family, an uncle. The abuse lasts for nearly 4 years. As a teacher, you have a unique position to be able to watch and observe these children over time. You can make a difference in a child's life.
I'm a retired teacher. I taught 8 and 9-year-olds for 32 years. I had many successes that I'm proud of, but I had failures as well. These I look back on with regret. I don't have an excuse for not realizing when a little girl, I'll call Jane, kept coming late for class several mornings a week. School began at 8 o'clock. At 9, I was looking out the window and saw a car drive up to the school. 2 little girls hurried out of the car, running as fast as they could to get to class. One was Jane, the other was her older sister. When Jane got to class, I asked her if the man driving away was her dad. She said, "That's not my dad. It's my mother's boyfriend." Later, as she was working at the board, she reached over and grabbed herself, as if in pain. But she quickly regained composure and pretended nothing had happened. I believe that as adults, we have a tendency to avoid this issue. So many of us don't want to know or accept the truth. Yes, we teachers become involved. We care. We remember events that we couldn't or didn't control.
Every person, including a licensed physician, a resident or an intern examining, attending or treating a child, a law enforcement officer, a judge presiding over a proceeding, a registered nurse, a visiting nurse, a school teacher, a school official, a social worker acting in an official capacity, or a member of the clergy who has information that is not privileged as a matter of law, who knows or has a reasonable suspicion that a child is an abused or a neglected child shall report the matter immediately to a local law enforcement agency, the department, or a tribal law enforcement or social services agency for any Indian child residing in Indian country.
My story begins at home with my stepdad. My stepdad was my perpetrator. He basically was our primary caregiver. My mom was the one who worked out of the home, and so when we came home from school, he was the one that was there. I went through different forms of abuse. I went through sexual assault. That was the big one. He was real strict. I never left the house. I couldn't talk on the phone. I was, basically sheltered. And, I was timed when I got off the bus. He knew what time the bus drop me off, and I basically had to run home, and I was timed even then, and if I didn't get home on time, he would beat me. I couldn't talk to my mom. My mom believed everything that he said, and my mom wasn't there. I didn't have a really good relationship with my mom, so she wasn't somebody that I could just open up and talk to. I had kind of disclosed to a friend. She told me, hey, why don't we go talk to this teacher of mine, and we'll tell him, we have a friend and we just want to talk to him about what might happen if this friend said something about this happening to him. And so I was like, okay, what's the worst that could happen? This teacher's not going to know it's me, So we went and we sat with the teacher, and the teacher said, I'm assuming that the friend is you, and basically took it from there. Like I said, if I hadn't talked to the teacher that day, I don't think I would have disclosed. Basically reinforcing the fact that, they could be that child's safe person, they could make a difference in a child's life, and that they should, they might be the only person that child has. A lot of the times it's like, maybe the child has the same situation I do. A lot of the times nowadays we see that, they're single moms or, single parents altogether, where sometimes, these kids might fall through the cracks, and maybe that teacher could be the person that helps this child, or maybe they're the only safe person that this child has. I think I would thank that teacher for making a difference in my life.
Your job is simply to report the suspected abuse and be there to let the child know that you will get them the help that they need. Your job is to report it, not prove it. When a child discloses, it's important to not panic. We want you to stay calm and collected so that the child feels safe and knows that they made the right decision to come and talk to you. Secondly, we want you to believe the child. The most important thing is for the child to feel safe and know that they are believed, as it is very possible that the person who's perpetrating on them has tricked them or convinced them that no one will believe them. One of the most important things to do is be supportive, unconditionally supportive to the child. Let the child know that you are there for them and that they made the right choice coming to you. If a child asks you not to tell, remember that you have a duty to report. So promising a child you won't tell is something you cannot do. Let the child know that you are there for them. Something that's very important is to never change a child's words. It's important to talk to them in their language and use the wording that they use, but never ask them leading questions, such as when the abuse happened or who is the abuser. So it's really important to remember that all adults present are required by law to report the abuse. It is important to keep in mind that you are not an investigator. You do not need proof, only the suspicion that a child is being abused. Your job is simply to report the suspected abuse and be there to let the child know that you will get them the help that they need. Your job is to report it, not to prove it. How to report. You can call your local law enforcement at 911, CYFD at 1-855-333-SAFE 7233, or pound SAFE from your cell phone. Remember, you can remain anonymous. Just keep a personal record of the date and time of the report made.